It starts with a feeling. The kind you get when you walk into a room and forget why you're there. A sense of misplacement. We've all felt it. We laugh it off, call it brain fog, and get on with our day. But what if it's not you who forgot? What if it's the place that's forgetting you? My name is Maya, or at least I'm pretty sure it is. It's written here on my driver's license, my library card. My name is Maya. I am 32 years old. I live in apartment 4B, and I have a small, irrational fear of butterflies. These are facts. Logical, verifiable facts. But logic is a very thin blanket. It came in the mail. We're all buried in junk mail, physical and digital spam. But this was different. It was a single envelope. Thick, beige. The color of old, forgotten institutions. It had no stamp, no return address. Just my name, Maya, typed in a severe serif font. Inside was a single sheet of matching beige paper. It wasn't a bill. It wasn't a threat. It was a notice. It was from the Bureau of Ontological Maintenance. At the top, my name, my date of birth, and a long alphanumeric string I didn't recognize. My case file. And then the text. Dear occupant, it began. Not Dear Maya. Following a recent audit of the Central Registry, your existence, case file number 881G, has been flagged for conceptual redundancy. I read that line 3 times. Conceptual redundancy. It has been determined that your file was processed in error, and that your continued manifestation constitutes a significant clerical paradox. As such, corrective measures are scheduled to commence in exactly 72 hours. It was signed, the administration. Below that, in smaller type, you have the right to appeal this correction. All appeals must be filed in person at our regional office. Please bring this notice and all supporting documentation of your thematic relevance. There was an address, a building I'd never heard of, on a street I didn't know. 72 hours. It sounds like a joke, a very strange, elaborate prank. I laughed, a dry, nervous little sound. I called my friend Ben, told him about it. He laughed too.
Conceptual redundancy? Sounds like my last relationship.
He told me to frame it, that it was great art. We made plans for trivia on Friday. Everything was normal. But that night, the correction began. It wasn't a monster in the closet. It was quieter. I went to get a glass of water and my hand passed through the cupboard handle. Just for a second. That same feeling of misplacement, but physical. I chalked it up to being tired. The next morning, the letter was still on my counter. It felt heavier. The 72 hours were ticking. I looked up the address. It didn't exist on any map, but I knew where it was. We all do. It's that part of town you just drive through. The one with the featureless concrete buildings and the windows that are too high up. The building had no name, just a number. 1,600. The air around it smelled like ozone and old, damp paper. The lobby was gray. Not just painted gray. It felt gray. The sound was wrong. Muted. Like the whole room was holding its breath. There were other people in line, but they were blurry. As if my eyes couldn't quite focus on them. They all clutched identical beige envelopes. At the front, a reception desk made of dark, scarred wood. Behind it sat a woman. She looked at me, her expression perfectly, terrifyingly blank. I said, "Hi, I'm here to file an appeal." She stared at me. Then she spoke, and her voice was like dry leaves skittering on pavement. She said,
"No, sir, away a papaya war is on."
I stared. I'm sorry, what? She pushed a clipboard toward me, never blinking.
Stressed? No tips, spit on desserts.
I realized. Palindromes. She was speaking only in palindromes. I pointed to my letter. The Bureau of Ontological Maintenance. She nodded slowly.
Name, date, purpose.
I looked at the form. It was Form 10G, Appeal of Redundancy. Box 1. Name. Easy. Box 2. Date of manifestation. I guess my birthday. Box 3. Thematic purpose of childhood. I left that blank. Box 4. Justification for continued emotional resonance. How do you justify your own relevance? I wrote, I have a cat. I'm good at trivia. My friend Ben is expecting me on Friday. I handed it back. She took it, stamped it with a violent thunk, and said,
Go, dog.
She pointed to an elevator. The elevator was old brass. The buttons were not for floors. They were labeled, Regret later, inquiries, the 4th floor, denial. I pressed inquiries. The elevator didn't move up or down. It seemed to move, sideways. The air grew cold. When the doors opened, I was in a hallway. It stretched well, it didn't stretch. It just was. The walls were lined with endless rows of metal filing cabinets. This, I realized, was the bureau. This was the back end of reality. I had 48 hours left. I started walking. The correction was getting stronger. I looked at my hand. It was becoming transparent. I could see the beige-painted wall right through my palm. I panicked. I pulled out my phone to call Ben. No service. Of course. I tried to pull up his photo. The file was corrupted. Just a gray box. I ran. The hallway didn't change. Left turn, right turn. It was always the same endless row of cabinets. I was in a labyrinth of my own administrative file. Finally, I saw a door. Not a metal one. An oak door with a frosted glass window. It simply said, Head Archivist. I didn't knock. I burst in. The room was small, and it was filled wall to wall, floor to ceiling, with paper. Stacks of it. Bundles of it. It formed a nest. And in the center of the nest sat a very small, very old man. He was wearing a green visor and sleeve garters, like something out of Dickens. He was writing furiously in a massive, leather-bound ledger with a scratching quill pen. He didn't look up.
Case file.
He chirped, still writing. Maya, case file 881G. You sent me a letter. You said I was a redundancy.
Ah, yes.
He scratched.
The librarian. Messy file. Very messy. Cross-indexed with a paradox from 1953. An unfiled feeling. You were never meant to congeal.
I am real, I shouted, but my voice sounded thin. I looked at my arm. I could barely see it. I have a life. I have friends. Ben. The archivist stopped writing. The silence was terrifying.
Ben.
He said, tasting the name. He pulled another, smaller ledger from the pile. He flipped a few pages.
Ah, Benjamin Miller. File 447B. Good file. Orderly. Stable. We had to do a small correction on his file this morning to resolve your redundancy.
What did you do?
We simply tidied up. To prepare your file for deletion, all primary cross-references must be unlinked. It's standard procedure. Mr. Miller no longer has a Friday trivia entry. The system is much cleaner now. He doesn't remember you.
I felt it. A pop, like a string being cut deep inside my chest. The world, the real world, had just edited me out. I was an error, a typo. and the backspace key was coming down. I had maybe an hour left. I was fading. "Please," I whispered. My own voice was a ghost. "You can't. My fear of butterflies, my love for old books, my messy, illogical, stupid life. It's not a clerical error. It's mine." The archivist looked up for the first time. His eyes were just dark, empty pits, like the holes in a punch card.
The system dislikes messy, Ms. Maya. It creates paradoxes, and paradoxes must be maintained.
He looked at my fading form. He seemed almost thoughtful.
Your file is set for deletion, but the energy of the paradox, the illogic, it must be contained. The system requires balance. There is an alternative to deletion, a transfer, a refiling.
He gets to a stack of papers. "What is it?" I said. I was desperate.
This is the Bureau of Ontological Maintenance.
He chirped.
We don't just delete errors, we manage them. We have an opening.
That was 6 hours ago. Or 6 years? Time is different here. My name is Maya, I think. I sit at a desk. It's made of dark, scarred wood. The lobby is very gray. My job is to greet the new arrivals, the ones who feel misplaced, the ones who get the beige envelopes. I sort their forms. I point them to the elevator. I can't leave. The refiling was successful. I am no longer a redundancy. I am staff. A young man, pale and trembling, just handed me his letter. He looks so confused. He says he's here to file an appeal. I look at him. I open my mouth, and the words just come out. "Was it a car?" I say, my voice like dry leaves. "Or a cat I saw?"